Oi you, it's time for another episode of Dorothy and the Dealer. Let's tune into the conversation.
Are you going to play with an empty bottle?
No.
Do you know what song you're going to sing?
No, I don't. I'm just trying to think.
Are we rolling?
What's that Africa song, you know?
Oh, Toto.
Away
From you, nothing more than 100 more will ever do.
touch the rains down in Africa. I touch the rains. Love that song. I saw a really good version.
Is that your theme song?
Yeah. I saw
That was a good version.
Wasn't it?
It was so good.
It was. It made my
with the choir.
They did the whole thing.
You watched that over and over and over again for like about 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah. Because it just made the hair stand.
It was lovely. It was a good version.
Toto Africa, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Welcome to another episode of Dorothy and the Dealer. What are we talking about today?
Well, I think the main premise is Dorothy and the Dealer.
Yeah, we're going to talk about even the podcast, how it came about and everything. There's been a big transformation in our business in the last year and a half, hasn't there?
Yeah.
And I think when we look back, it probably started a little just before, but I think that the main focus of the transformation started when we were on the cruise, when we were in Mexico.
I think it even started before then, because I think what had happened was we realised that in order for us to take it to another level, that you had to hand over some of the responsibility.
I was a little bit holding on to things, wasn't I?
But you were kind of doing everything, and that just wasn't fair. And everything we're about is freedom and love and understanding. And they're part of our 4 core values. And then I realised that we were so wanting to get it out that we had to be a bit smarter about it. And of course,
we delegate a bit more.
Yeah, we brought in the fantastic Fee, and we also brought in Duncan. And to do that, there's a whole process of having to hand things over
and let go,
because
that process wasn't necessarily that easy for me. I'm just saying.
I mean, sometimes we hand shit over, but we end up hovering around, going, do this, do that, and it was big for everybody. I mean, it was also big for Fiona. I remember we had a pretty big day where Fiona was like, okay, I get that you guys have actually handed me the business. Yes, we've handed you the business, And she was like, whoa, okay, I get it. And we were like, okay, yeah, we kind of get it too, because we've realised that we've just handed it over. So please take care of our baby.
But in handing it over, it wasn't about handing it over. It's about, letting Fee take the reins, a little bit.
I mean, Fiona came in then and said, look, there's some great reading that we need to all get on board with. So we kind of have an internal book club. When one person's reading something, we're all reading it. And then we were introduced to, I think it was Delivering Happiness by Tony Hsieh, which is such a fantastic book. He's the builder of Zappos. And Tony Hsieh, in his book, had started talking about a guy named Dave Logan who wrote Tribal Leadership. And it was the reading of Tribal Leadership that I was like, wow, I love this concept.
Yeah, it's very good.
And I think realistically, that word tribe, especially within all the companies that we work with, who all use the word tribe now.
Yes.
Really was birthed out of us and that vision and mission to go and meet Dave and spend some time with him.
Yeah, so realistically, this all started probably about a year before we met Dave then, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or give or take, about a year.
And then we ended up with Dave, and Dave, worked with about 70 of our clients in Mexico. And then we had some private sessions with him, and then involved in those private sessions was Cleve McMillan from the Dollar Shave Club, who was the head of education for the Dollar Shave Club. And in there, when we were doing the work on the tribe and building the values of the organisation,
that's what we did first up. Was we really honed in on those top 4 core values of MJB. What MJB is all about, and that was a long process. We came up with for us to come up with 4 words after such an intense thing. It was a big job to do that. Yeah.
And then and it was great because we had a lot of the staff there. About 80% of the staff are there, but we realised in that moment that the existing framework and model and everything that we were doing was going to become antiquated, and we needed, if we wanted to, because my goal has always been, I want to get it to a point where globally people fly in from all over the world to West Australia to experience a process that was developed in West Australia through relationships and through the programs. So to do that, Cleve said to us, look, we're going to have to do something with the brand. The brand needs to change. It needs to be more evolved.
And, when that happens, like when somebody says that, you got to do something with the brand, there's a little part of you that goes, yeah. And then there's another part of you goes, hang on a second. What are you saying about what we've done so far?
Yeah.
And you get a little protective. Well, I know, I did. I got a little protective.
I think there's a part of me goes, you answer in a higher octave. That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
There's a part of you going, fuck you. Because I'm thinking, oh my God, the minute somebody mentions a brand change, the minute that goes on, ooh. And then when you say to them, hey, how long do you think it's going to take? And they're like, we should have it done in 12 months. That's 3 years.
That's 3 years away.
Yeah, fucking 12 months my ass. I know what 12 months equates to. And I mean, literally, it'll be 3 years in another couple of months.
Well, it'll be at least.
It's 2 at the moment.
It's a little bit.
A little bit over 2 years we've been at it. But it's been quite magic because it's for everybody. We've watched a business go.
And we needed to rebrand, like you said, because some of the core values then weren't congruent with how some of the things, just even from, when we talk about branding, everything's got to be on brand. You know, that's the way we speak, the way the emails go out, the way our written communication, our website, everything,
customer service, everything. We wanted to take it to another level.
And because we'd read about Zappos and how their whole culture had transformed as a result, and we're like, well, that's where we want to be. And it really started with okay, well then, that rebranding process. I mean, you, Cleve, and myself sat down and we were at it for at least a week, weren't we? Every single day.
Most people wouldn't, don't understand the intricacies of what goes into when you go to set out and build a brand. What it is you're actually building, because you're building your legacy. You're building how you're going to be seen to the world.
Absolutely.
You're building how you want to be received. You're also building how you want to be admitted into the world. You're building your relationship with people. I saw something really funny the other day, and I was thinking about Cleve Macmillan when I saw this. But it was somebody's brand, and it was a picture of a domino, right? And then underneath the slogan was, "We have your partner." And I thought, fuck, are they a kidnapping agency? We have your partner. I'm looking at it thinking, what do you kidnap people, or have you actually got my partner? Do you have my partner? But it was actually a relationships agency, But when I looked at it, I thought that has got to be, whoever did your branding needs to be stood up against a wall and shot. But at the same time, it stuck in my mind. It was funny enough for me to pull out my phone and take a photograph and go, oh my God, this just looks so crazy. So you can get your brand really wrong, and you don't know how it's being received by the world.
Yeah.
You can get this thing off, and you don't. And so we were very lucky to sit down and thoroughly go through a breakdown of all of it, to the point where now we literally have a brand Bible. Yeah, we have a brand Bible that
goes to all
everything.
That goes to all of our anyone who markets with us, anyone who works internally.
Creative. We have colours that are ours. We have tints of those colours that are only ours. It's really quite amazing. So
I mean, we've gone through a lot in order to make that happen. We've asked ourselves a lot of questions, and some of the questions are, what are the key words that describe our brand? We've asked ourselves, what are the walkaway things that people take away and talk about in terms of our brand?
And I think in terms of the walkaways, life will tell us when we're on par. So walkaways are like, what do you want to hear from your client that you can tell
about their experience?
About their experience. So what are the words you want to hear them saying? And
that we're never allowed to use in our marketing.
That we're not allowed to use in our marketing, correct. And so, and then when you start to hear that back from your clients, it's like, wow, you start to hear people saying that stuff to you. You're like, my God, that client just said this about the program. And that allowed us to restructure, relationships in you. It allowed us to come out with the book. book. It helped us with the it's helped us with the doco. Like, so much help and assistance has come about as a result.
Yeah,
of what
absolutely.
we've done there.
So we've gone through and we've rebranded MJB as an entity, created a new logo,
And
created
then, of course,
a new
this came out of it, right?
Yeah, and created a new tagline as well. And then we went and did the same thing. So for all the work we did for the MJB, then we did the same thing for relationships and you letting it go. STP, Mastermind and Money. And we're still in the process of going through that with some of the other seminars as well. Yeah. So it's been a massive thing, but it's it feels like it's a big job while you're in it, but then once you come out of it, you're like, oh my gosh, that's and you get these these pieces of gold that come out of, you know, what we've done, and we're like, that's exactly, like, we'd never thought about articulating what people get in relationships and you in that way until we'd done it in that way. And it was like, it was time for us to do that, wasn't it? It was time for us to get that done.
You know, everybody, including all the clients, everybody has played a role in us building this brand. You know, everybody who's ever done anything with us has played a role in what we, you know, in us putting something so unique together, you know. And I think, I feel very proud that we have, you know, such an excellent message and an excellent brand and an excellent process that people just love, and everybody wanted to participate. All the people that we wanted to interview or get involved for the web, you know, everyone was like, just are you great? I'm in, you know. And even, you know, really you know, pulling the kids out of school, Ange out of school, down to studios, you know, and Ange is a busy mom, and, you know, everybody just wanted to help out. There was never a question. Nobody stopped and went, oh no, you know, I'm doing my nails. You know, everybody was like, yeah, no problem. And I think that's because everybody gets the message about what it's about.
Absolutely.
You know?
So what's come out of it, I suppose, is that, you know, we're changing the whole communication system. We're changing how we communicate with each other. We're changing how we communicate with the clients. And this is one of the reasons that we're doing this, Dorothy and the Dealer. Is that we just realised that we needed to, one of the things we realised is that we had to come across as more us, you know. Even Dorothy and the Dealer kind of came about, because remember Fee and I kept saying to you, Mitch, your videos are really good, but there's something missing, you know. There was something a little missing, and I think what was missing is that, you know, when you're sitting in front of a camera, there's something that's not quite right when you're in front of a camera. You feel like you've got to be on show in some way, and we realised that the best way for us to be authentic, which is one of our core values, is to be real. One of the ways that we could do that is for us to just have a conversation, and that's why that's where the podcast was born, because when we just have a conversation, that's when, you know, that's when the magic happens at you know, in a big way. You know? And the Facebook Lives as well, because we're just sitting there talking. We're interacting as opposed to, you know, trying to be...
my name's Troy McClure. You may remember me from movies such as... So we had to get away from that model of, you know, not being yourself. You know, that model.
And it was ourselves. It was a version of ourselves, but it wasn't as truly authentic as we could be, you know what I mean? I know that's the same for me, you know, when I'm on camera, like direct to camera, I feel like I have to be on show.
I was reading that book a couple of weeks ago, which is such a fucking excellent book. Oversubscribed, and he put out a really important point, and I also kind of felt like he said business nowadays is like a wave, and if you're not at the front of the wave, if you're on the top of the wave, you're going to be left back in the ocean. You're going to miss it. Business nowadays is, if you're not creating, if you're not at the you know, over the cusp of the wave, if you're not, you know, if you haven't got this wave pushing you along, you know, and pushing your business along and pushing you into the market, you really are going to be left behind. And I'm just so grateful that we have so many really good experts around us that have been really, you know, from the camera guys right through to audio, right through to our script writers, our creative, you know, the people in the US. Because we people, you know, when you think about it, we've people all over the world.
We've got people in the Philippines, we've got people in the US, we've got people in the UK, we've got people in Australia.
But
everywhere.
ultimately that was, you know, that was about this message of, you know, us wanting to get it out to the world, you know, wanting people to hear us. And I think that, you know, I remember listening to Joe Rogan talking to Russell Brand about Russell's his podcast.
Yeah.
And he was saying to him, Russell, you need to have a podcast.
You need to do it. Yeah.
And you need to, because this is the new form of media. It really is. This is the new form of media. And I think there's an important point here that I've been thinking about this week, which was, it's, lots of people have a go at the media, right? And including myself, and I have done for years. And then I realised when you're having to go to media, of course it's a charge and you've got to do something about it. But it's like anything. We need to let the media know what we want to hear.
Yeah.
And the reason people are turning off is because they just don't want to hear it anymore.
And that's why, and this is such a big reason why we had to rebrand and why we did this, because we're reworking and we're really clear about the message we want to get out, how we're communicating, and not only that, we've always had seminars, but what we really wanted to do was to create a lifetime experience with us, a journey. Do you know what I mean? Because some people want to be on the journey for a short amount of time, and some people want to be on the journey for the long haul. And we want to be able to give people the opportunity to jump on and off wherever they choose, and to feel like at any point that they can come back and spend time with us if that's what they want to do.
That's
do you know what I mean?
That's right.
So that's one. And then the other thing we realised is that people didn't really know who we were.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because as much as you're a businessman, right, and you're a businessman, first and foremost, you're a family man. You're a family man who runs a business and does what he loves.
Yeah.
And none of that messaging was coming across in our email communication, in our videos, in any of that stuff. So I think it was time that we humanised who you were and humanised who I was.
I also think we have a lot that we want to talk about. We've a lot to say. There's a lot to get out there, and we just wanted to be able to give people value and say, look, there's a shitload to talk about. We've so much of it. Like, there's so much stuff that I haven't even spoken.
We haven't. No.
And I mean. But for me, it's important for me to get that message out. It's important for me to get that stuff out.
And then we also...
And find an avenue that is conducive so that anybody can listen to it at any point
Absolutely.
in time.
And I think the other takeaway from the rebrand is that what we also wanted to do was not just shine a light on us, because I think it's important for people to see who we are and humanise us and to know what we're about and get them to feel that we're relatable when we're online, when we're offline, whatever. Yeah. But also to shine a light on our people, because there's so many people and so many amazing stories out there of our clients. And one of the things we wanted to do, and we're doing on our homepage, is to shine a light on our clients. And this is who some of our clients are. This is where these are the people that make up MJB. It's not just us. It's us, but it's the team that work in the office, which is us. It's the clients, which is us. The whole lot is the tribe. And we wanted to be able to find a way to include everyone in that process. And I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of that, the homepage and the fact that we're we're really shining a light on everybody.
It's, as much as it's about MJB, it's about you guys that are listening right now. The whole rebrand, the whole, the podcasts, the book, the doco, all of this stuff was, was the website, which is, very friendly. Come on, learn what you can. How much can we give you guys?
And I think this is, I suppose as well, that this is a little bit of just the first step, because as much as we've done a lot of work, there's a whole lot more that we, down the track that we want to do. We're doing this, we're doing the podcast, we're doing the videos on our clients. But our long-term goal and our long-term vision is to have a portal for people to come and learn and have an e-learning kind of site and an e-learning kind of where you can come and do the seminars with us, and obviously nothing takes away from the experience of relationships in you. That's something you've got to do. You've got to do it in person. There's nothing. And
anybody who's done it knows that.
Of course.
Knows, oh my God, everybody in the world needs to.
Absolutely. But there are so many other things that we've got to talk about, and so many other things that we could be teaching, that there are other avenues to do that, and we really want to make our place an online place to come along and for people to come and do some learning online.
Yeah. So it's like an online home.
Yeah.
Where you can hang out with us as if you're in the office.
So maybe we should talk a little bit about what we as individuals needed to transform, I suppose, in order to get to this point.
I think one of the things was, I wanted to deprivatize myself and my family, but also still be private. But I wanted people to understand that point. I remember when Cleve first said it to me, Mitch, you're not a businessman, you're a family man with a business, where most people are businessmen with families. And in part way I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. And I was like, shit, is that true? And then I've realised, that is actually true. And I'm actually quite proud of that. I'm quite proud of the fact that I'm a dad. I'm quite proud of my wife. And
the fact that you work your business around your family and not your family around your business.
That's right.
Like we've set it up so that we can have our lifestyle as well as our business, and they both meld together, but they both they work together as well. Does that make sense?
And also, it's like, how did they want... I think the big thing for me was also the humanizing thing, letting people know that I am a person. I have faults. I don't claim to be anything, but I'm actually okay with not being okay with that stuff. I know how to deal with those things. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. So it was like another layer. It was like writing a book. It was like telling my story on stage for the first time. This is just another layer
of it. I think for me it was the same, like what you said at the start. I had to transform because I had to be okay with not having to do everything. And it's kind of a bit... It's cool and kind of a bit confronting to be able to go for, today we've walked in and we've been told, okay, you've got an interview here, you've got doing this here, you're doing that there. And it's like, I don't have to worry about that. I used to have to worry about all of that stuff. Now I just have to show up and actually do my job. And the thing that I love about that is that we've got a team of people that are just showing up and doing their job, just doing what they love. Our accounts person doesn't feel like they need to be on camera. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
And our marketing person is just loves marketing. Do you know what I mean? And that's we in doing the rebrand, the whole business has sort of, everything has fallen into place that everybody's really doing what they love, and I've had to be okay with being okay with that. Do you know what I mean? Not having to do everything. And also the same as you, because I think for me, I used to sit, like, I was always by your side. I mean, I've been by your side for how many years? A long time. But I was kind of just off camera, and now I have to be, part of it is that I've got to share who I am on camera. And so it's interesting to see the transformation and the shift, because it has to happen, in us as well. But in the business, we've then needed to, it's also, we've looked at, the business has changed because we've had different people come in. And people, not even just different people come in, it's like people really fitting into the roles in a new way. Do you know what I mean? And feeling comfortable. And we've said on one of the other podcasts that we've gone satellite now, and that now we're not as attached to, you have to be in the office to do this job. No, you can live your life. You can do what you love. And
I mean, at the end of the day, like we're still not 100%. Like,
we're still working towards it. How that's going to work.
Is it going to be completely hunky dory? We don't know that yet. But the point is that if we're going to stand for people doing what they love and loving what they do and living their lives that way, well, then that's what we have to stand for.
Absolutely. So we've got we've got Fee who lives in Melbourne.
She's about to go back to Melbourne. Duncan's over
and then
Charlie lives in Melbourne.
Taryn's and new coach is in Queensland. And we've got a team of people here. We've got equilibrators in Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, and new ones coming up in Adelaide. So it's like, we've got our video production team now who are right behind the cameras as we speak, Will and Nathan. And, we've got our brand manager, who's Cleve, who's making sure that we stay on brand all the time.
He's in LA.
He's in LA. So yeah, it's been an interesting process.
Yeah, I like Cleve.
Yeah. Oh, do you? That's nice. You've known
Well, I've
him
known him for 25 years.
I know. I was going to say you've known him for a very
very hard with Cleve McMillan over that 25-year period, but yeah, it's great to see the progress of all of it. But I mean, it at the end of the day, you know, this has been about us. You know, like I said, being able to be on the cutting edge as much as, you know, lots of people have podcasts, but I mean, for us, it's been about, okay, how do we deliver great content?
Well, that's the thing. What's the premise of us doing this is really for us just to be us, like with all of that other stuff that happened and with all the other rebranding, it's like, okay, this is now a really good opportunity for us just to talk, for us just to have a conversation, and it's a no bullshit conversation. You know, this is when we don't have a seminar where we have to get certain things done. We don't have certain things said and an outcome to achieve. We're just two people having a conversation, and our intention is to do some of that with storytelling as well, isn't it? And well,
education, storytelling, helping some of the guys to, you know, relate back to
what's really going on.
We're not going to talk to you about anything that we haven't done, you know, because we don't hold the right to do that.
And we find lots of things interesting as well. So we've got lots.
I haven't talked about aliens yet.
Not yet.
I haven't talked about, what else have I not talked about? I haven't talked about Big Pharma.
We haven't gone into the media really.
I haven't talked about any of that yet, but we are
religion, science, and the topics are not like they're just really cool. Like some of those podcasts might be a bit longer.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Sure.
So I think I hope that helps people understand a little bit about where this podcast has come about, and I think hopefully as well it helps people to understand that businesses are they're a moving object. They're not meant to stay static, you know. Right. And we'd got ourselves to a point and we'd worked our way to our level of what we had been able to achieve, and then we knew that there was something outside of that level. Yeah. And in order to get to that point, we needed to do something different. Yeah. In order to be able to get to that different place. So
big changes, big transformation, which has just been awesome.
Yeah, it's been really, really cool. So that's how we came about. Awesome. Cool.